Good morning, class. My name is Lori Maitland, your teacher, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Female Pop Singers of the 20th Century. Today, in History of Female Pop Music from 1978, we are going to talk about the Queen of Pop and Disco with a blend of blue-eyed soul from America that has a big, strong, and powerful womanly contralto that I have ever heard of, and her name is Miss Karen Young. We are also going to talk about her first album, Hot Shot, my absolute favorite. It was released on the disco record label, founded by the late godfather of disco, Melvin Sharon, and Ed Cushion's West End. When I was at the age of 3 in 1978, I heard my father playing that song on the whole LP, and I loved it. The disco music was very satisfying. She had high class, filled with a whole lot of guts and energy when she had sung with fire. The pulsating sound of the bass drum was very strong and powerful, and the percussive beats were so excellent too. It has great taste. It has good color, and the disco rhythms were so enjoyable. After all these years, I still love that album, Hot Shot, because it's filled with real music I have to concentrate on that is always in good shape. Plus, I like all the songs that are always my favorites, so I will give them all 100%. Plus, for the album of Hot Shot, done by the late Queen of Pop and Disco with a blend of blue-eyed soul named Karen Young, I'm going to give it both 100%, an A+, and 10 out of 10. I always love her normal register that I am always impressed with, because it's better than fake, phony, crazy, screechy whistle registers, which they are the outrage and sounding out of control that I am not happy with. As I was saying, normal registers are better than screechy whistle registers that don't suit my throat. No head voice, no super head voice, just only the chest voice of Karen from way back when, where she only hit the G5 note, which was possible for her. On the whole album Hot Shot, released in 1978, her normal vocal register only spanned from F3 to G5, which was possible for her throat. Guess what? No slow bluesy ballad intros picking up the speed to disco songs in the style of Donna Summer that was featured on the song Last Dance from Thank God It's Friday, written by the late Paul Jabara. Gloria Gaynor that was featured on her tune I Will Survive, written by Dina Fakaris, and the late Freddie Perrin, or even Thelma Houston on her soulful disco remake of the Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes tune, Don't Leave Me This Way. Just all four fast, high-energy disco cuts, written and produced by Karen's two friends, Andy and Kurt. I never knew that she could scat sing. Speaking of scat singing, I am not very good at it. Furthermore, I find it all too confusing for my brain. 'Cause if I do, nobody will understand what the words are. I feel sorry for her disco record label, West End, because they had the song titles all backwards that I wasn't impressed with. So I helped them rearrange the song titles in sequential order, beginning with the title cut all the way to the last closing track, Baby You Ain't Nothing Without Me. Anyway, this album was produced by two American guys from Philadelphia named Andy Kahn and the late Kurt Borziewicz, with help of Andy's brother as the executive producer, the late Walter Kahn. This is what should have existed that year. Side one should have started off with Hot Shot, the title cut, as it wakes you up first thing in the morning with a lot of high energy fitness, exercise, walking in place, marching in place, dancercising, and regular dancing. The second track on side one should have been God Knows I'm Just a Woman, that makes you feel like you want to sip your iced tea in the afternoon or cool off by drinking a glass of cool water when taking a break. And the closing track on side one should have been Bo, that makes you feel like you want to go to sleep at bedtime. Then the next morning, side two wakes you up with a high energy pack of 3 disco songs to keep you dancing just to get in shape, starting off with Bring on the Boys all the way to the last closing track on side two, Baby You Ain't Nothing Without Me. Well, you know, speaking of Baby You Ain't Nothing Without Me, it's different than Thelma Houston's soul disco version of the Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes tune, Don't Leave Me This Way. You see, that is 2 years before ABBA's 1980 album, Super Trooper, where their music is in bad shape after disco music died in November of 1980. I believe that Queen Miss Karen Young is way better than the King of Pop from England named Cliff Richard with a weak and perilous voice, since he sang pop songs like We Don't Talk Anymore, Dreaming, Suddenly with Miss Olivia Newton-John, the queen of pop music from Australia, and A Little in Love. So since I am not a huge fan of Mr. Cliff Richard, I would choose to be a big fan of Miss Karen Young, because my fact is, since I'm keeping the whole LP of Hot Shot for myself that always has real music, she's got a strong and powerful voice in Cliff. So who has a strong and powerful voice? Karen Young or Cliff Richard?
Karen Young.
If you choose the Queen Miss Karen Young, then you're definitely, absolutely correct. So let's start the album review of this album together. Side one begins with the title cut, Hot Shot. Second track is God Knows I'm Just a Woman. And side one closes out with Bo. Now side two opens up with Bring on the Boys. Second track is Where Is He? And side two closes out with the very last track, Baby You Ain't Nothing without me. So if you're interested in buying the correct version of her first album made from 1978, log on to both Karen Young for a Cause of Women and West End Records online store. Since the class is dismissed, we are going to put on our disco clothes and disco dancing shoes and disco dance with the young and old in a Copacabana style, including adults, kids, and teens, to an old favorite of mine that we can sign off with, taken from her first album, and it's entitled Hot Shot. Thanks for subscribing, and I hope to see all of you again sometime. Bye-bye. Class dismissed.
Woo-hoo, yeah. When I'm sitting home and I'm all alone, and I don't hear no phone, I need a hot shot. When it's late at night and I ain't feeling right, there ain't no man inside. I need a hot shot. Ooh, baby, 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 I want to feel it in my soul. Come on, I'm moving. Hey, you know you're never, 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 never gonna lose control of my fire burning. It's getting real hot. You know that I need me a shot. Ooh, when I'm off the street and I feel the beat that drives me out of my feet, I need a hot shot.
Hot shot, hot shot, hot.
I need a hot shot. When I'm sitting home and I'm all alone, and I don't hear no phone, I need a hot shot. When I'm with the crowd and we're feeling proud, and the music's loud, I need a hot shot. Come on, come on, come on, come on. You gotta feel the kind of motion in my soul. You gotta move it. Ooh, I know you're never, 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 never gonna lose control of my fire burning. It's getting real hot. You know that I need me my shot. Woo! I need a hot shot.
Hot shot, hot shot, hot.
Now, baby, woo! Give me a lovin', baby, my sweet, sweet hot shot. Woo! Come on, I feel, don't you 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 feel, no, no, I feel. Woo, woo! Come on, my baby, baby, sweet, sweet baby, 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 sweet, sweet baby. Hey, hey, hey. My fire is burning, it's getting real hot. I'm waiting for a